The post-production part of a podcast is just as important as its preparation and recording, the production itself. It ensures that you publish quality content and therefore meet the expectations of your listeners. However, editing your podcast can be complicated and time-consuming, especially when you don't know how to use software or app to modify your recordings. Well, you don't have to worry about it anymore. With the LiLiCAST tool, making a perfect podcast has never been easier. The most important and time-consuming part of editing your podcast is editing the dialogue. This is a crucial step in post-production, since you will decide which parts you want to keep, which ones you will place in the introductions, which ones your podcast will end with, and so on. Thanks to LiLiCAST and its features, you can edit and modulate your audio as you wish. In the editing part of the app, you can cut your podcast in order to keep only the parts that interest you, but also add other audio sections. You have the opportunity to remove mistakes, unnecessary parts, or annoying sounds. Having a moment of reflection a little too long, you can just delete it from your audio. However, this part is often very long and requires a lot of energy and attention to detail, whether you're a professional or not. It is therefore important to find the ideal app that will help you in your work. Finally, LiLiCAST will allow you to create a teaser of your radio show or podcast to interest your listeners, but also to stimulate the interest of new internet users. Once the audio part of your podcast has been modified, you will be able to focus on the visuals and text to be included in your podcast to illustrate your comments. This stage of post-production of a podcast is often the most fun, since there is no code. You can create something, add your image, and add a touch of originality to your project. With LiLiCAST, you can let your imagination go wild and create the perfect animated podcast. Choose a format that suits you best, and then determine the template that will support your podcast. You can then integrate images and decide when they appear. Also add text, keywords, or additional information about your podcast to make it easier to follow and understand. By focusing on an attractive visual, you will bring a significant asset to your podcast, as it will become more captivating for listeners. Finally, the last step of your podcast post-production is to publish it and distribute it online. This part is as important as the other two, whether you're a radio host or a podcaster. It will allow you to capture the interest of your community, but also to increase your audience. By publishing your work on the internet, you will have a stronger impact, and your podcast can be listened by people on the other side of the world. LiLiCAST was conceived with this idea in mind: connect people from different backgrounds through the internet. The app allows its users to extend their field of action by offering them the possibility to post their podcast on the internet, as well as social networks such as Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. You can broadcast your teaser or the complete podcast in just a few minutes and make yourself known online.